this is an issue that involves fairness and transparency. Two things are at issue here. The reality is, did the city council give her the right to hire and fire? Yes, but nobody's given the right to hire and fire a person unjustly. Just like when you hire a person, you make sure that there's a criteria you go by. When you fire a person, there's a criteria that you go by. Now, we're not dealing with nothing but fairness and justice. Right. It was not fair the way she was treated. It was not fair that certain people in the police department, Caucasian, white men, plotted against her. It was not fair that they told the public that the whole association gave her no vote of confidence. They did not give the numbers of how many people voted, no confidence for her. So they manipulated the public. Putting out propaganda on her, they manipulated the public. Then after manipulating the public, certain police in the police department lobbied Hollingsworth to make the decision to fire the woman. Common sense. She said out of her own mouth that she fired this woman not because she's inadequate to do the job, not because she's not qualified. She said out of her mouth that she fired her because some people on the campaign trail told her to fire her.
Because that's what the people wanted. Because that's what the people wanted. And that's what we heard whenever we were campaigning. If you know that's a decision that needs to be made, why delay? Just do it.
She says she heard the people of Pine Bluff, and just hours after she took the oath of office, Mayor Hollingsworth called Davis Jones to her office.
The termination process went very, very smooth. It took less than 5 minutes.
Is that fair? Is that just? No, it's not. Was it transparent? No, it was not. She did not come before the public and say, I am firing this woman because some people told me to fire her. And when she did the interview, she said these words: we decided that her service was no longer needed, but she refused to clarify who was the we that was making the decision. The people didn't vote no we in. The people voted her in because they were expecting her to do the right thing, and she did not do the right thing. Let me say this one thing. And the media was complicit because they know how to do the research to find out exactly how many people voted for her to leave office in the department and how many people didn't, and they didn't do the research. From what I understand about the Cassandra Hall case, was the case was inactive for several years with a white chief. And there was no outcry whatsoever with a white chief. And a black woman missing, there was no outcry. This woman came into office and she reopened the case. She was concerned. And then the community, because they were manipulated, the blame was placed on her desk. When she even tried to hold the officers accountable who really was responsible, because she couldn't hold the stuff in her purse and take it home with her. When she tried to hold the officer who was really responsible, then his buddies plotted, got together, they got everything overturned.
Just like they plotted to get this lady in office, to get her out of office. It's called discrimination. You know, whether it's an at-will state or not, it's the way you do things.
I mean, just even looking at Whitfield. If I'm right, he's about to approach 30 years or something.
Yeah.
The guy they brought in, possibly about 27 years or something.
That's right.
How can you just jump over a man with 30 years and bring somebody out of seclusion and appoint them as the interim chief? So, I mean, right there, that was disrespectful.
They draw their own opinions, they draw their own conclusions, and they finish the story without her part.
I don't think that she was even given a chance or opportunity to even speak.
She wasn't given a chance to even, at the time of termination, she was not given a chance to say, is there any questions or anything that you want at, that she's never given that opportunity. Anytime the papers say that she went in at 2 o'clock, she was fired by 2:05, there's nowhere in the world you could have asked one question.
If not for moral reasons, which would be extremely plausible, if not for moral reasons, then definitely for reasons of her being a human being, for her deserving to be treated as an equal. And also, I think that if she is reinstated, maybe as a higher official, Debbie Hollingsworth could actually have a chance to work with her as opposed to just firing her and not really knowing a whole lot about her as a person, for her to get a chance to work with her. And then, if she were to make a decision that, oh, hey, she's not doing a good job, then that would be a little more understandable than just firing the lady before she even got a chance to get to know her.
Now, concerning the issues in Pine Bluff that we are here to discuss in regards to our newly elected Mayor Debbie Hollingsworth, one of the first actions that she took was to fire the current police chief, Brenda Davis. Do you think that with that may be an indication of positive or negative things to come for Pine Bluff? What do you think?
Wow. Even when the President Barack Obama came into office, everyone talked about change, change, change. Pine Bluff was in I guess you could say a bad state to a degree. I guess you can say from one perspective before this new mayor. But in another perspective, you can say it was in a good state. I'm going to say this, the crime wasn't good. Crime rate was high. But I heard there was a surplus of so many millions of dollars. So once again, depending on what perspective you look at it from. But, I look at her coming in and firing the chief. It stirred a lot up. It stirred Pine Bluff up. Pine Bluff basically said, wow, there's change. Not only did the change happen as far as from one mayor to the next, but she came in and she made change. Instant. Was it fair? That's the question. Was it justified? That's the question. Like I say, it's one thing to have hearsay and gossip that goes on in small Pine Bluff, but to see an actual video, to read the body language, to spiritually discern what came off of our new mayor, I must say that was disturbing. I don't know the new mayor personally, but just from that video I saw, it makes me wonder what's really next for Pine Bluff. I don't think it's good. I think a number of people just may be fired. More injustices may come about. But I truly have to say, as black people in Pine Bluff, we must start pulling together. We must become more educated on the law. We can't wait till something happens, then go study the books. So like I say, for me personally, I think as a whole, Pine Bluff is in trouble to a degree. Change is about to come. It's going to keep coming. I mean, I guess you can say common sense. If one has credentials and the other doesn't, I mean, it almost seems, once again, it's common sense. You would go with the one who has credentials. It only seems right. Like I said, in this particular case, I've heard one is educated and one is not so educated. So I keep wondering, what's really taking place here. We'll say, oh, it's a black and white issue, it's a racial, stop doing the race card. I want to throw out the right card, the fair card. Can we be fair? Can we be right? Can we be just? And unfortunately, it ends up coming down to race. One's going to prosper, one's going to suffer. The divide is here, and majority of the time it is black on the suffering end. I didn't write history, it's there. And it continues to happen over and over and over again. But I think we've gotten to a point, as black people, we'll say, oh, it's not that, it's not that. If we really go to the heart of it, a lot of times it is that.
One of the things that concerned me about the voters in Pine Bluff, which is a majority black city, is that it seems like there was criticism or comments being made about Debbie Hollingsworth's campaign, about the massive size and the number of her campaign signs, how it just basically flooded the city. My concern and my question to you is, as a black voter, do you believe that there may be the potential for a plantation mentality, feeling like in spite of the fact there were 10 candidates, and I believe 7 of which, maybe 8 of them were African American, that if we combine all of those 7 candidates' votes together, they would not have even equaled half of the number of votes that Debbie Hollingsworth received. She just lapped all of those candidates put together. Does that concern you? Does that feel like that maybe the majority of African American people in Pine Bluff feel like their future is in better hands if there's a white person in charge? Is that indication of a plantation mentality?
Definitely. You know, just going back years ago, you have to say, I mean, picture this. One man on a horse controlling a whole plantation of people. One man, you have a whole plantation of people scared. Basically the same thing now. It hasn't changed. It's a different form. Same mentality though. You know, as far as everyone, I guess, gathering or getting behind Debbie Hollingsworth, I think that was more so money. Everybody put money into her campaign. And it came about. Money talks. Now us, that same money, I truly believe that went into getting her elected, went into dividing us as a people. Now, like I say, as far as Carl Reedus and what he did while he was in office, this is just what I've heard, that there was a lack of funding. But now, since he came in, money has come about. But like I said, then there are a number of other issues that they'll say about Reedus, Mayor Reedus. Like I said, now with this new mayor, I'm really not sure what she's about, what she's going to do. I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of alarmed. Like I said, with the firing of the chief, no reason behind it. As I continue to say, what will she do next without an explanation? Look at that, even with the civil rights movement, you know, I didn't walk, I didn't march, but I heard that the civil rights movement consisted of a lot of children. Children, whether it was college students or whether it was younger children out there marching. Reason being, the older people who had jobs, if they got out there and marched, if they spoke up, you lose your job. You lose your job, you lose money. You lose money, you lose your home. You can't feed your family. That's still happening to this day. So a lot of people scared to speak up. What may happen? That's one reason we must start being entrepreneurs, self-employed. You know, even with Minister Farrakhan, hate him and love him, whatever you like, but who really controls him? He says what he likes. Truth comes out, his truth. Nobody can stop him. I mean, I don't say that in an arrogant way, but when you're self-employed, you control your money, who can stop you? So now a lot of our people, black people, I can't say too much. I'll lose my job. I won't get this internship. I won't get this scholarship. I won't get this blah, blah, blah. So on and so forth. But I think once we just, I guess, shed that fear of getting cut, become self-employed, more entrepreneurs, we'll speak up. We'll speak up. Change has to come though. Even with the gathering tonight, there's still been more people here. Sure have. I truly believe Debbie Hollingsworth, when she got together, there were a number of people coming together to push forth that agenda, whatever the agenda may be.
Whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
What do you think we should do for a dying town like this?
You know, we speak about it a number of times. Myself and a number of friends, we talk about the lack of culture here. Lack of culture. I think we all just exist as black people. We all exist and we all suffer together. You know, we rarely come together until something happens. And then that bell, that flashlight goes off in the head. It's like, oh, it happened to them. It can probably happen to me too. But we should already be thinking like that. We should already be thinking like that. Hell, if they did it to Emmett Till, they can do it to me. If they did it to Medgar Evers, they can do it to me. If they did it to Dr. King, they can do it to me. If they did it to Malcolm X, they can do it to me. We can't wait till it happens. We should already be thinking about that. But once again, that knowledge and that education of the law and a number of things that are going on, there's a lot of things we don't know. So the brothers and the sisters who do have the information must share. We must go back and research that as well and be on one accord. You know, at this conference tonight, I had a brother sharing some information. Someone was questioning him. There was a debate. I don't want to say it was hard, but the brother didn't share his reference, where he got the information from. So it's almost like some will take it and some won't. You know, he felt it was fact, but another said, you know, where'd the information come from? We must get that information. I guess you can say he probably didn't share it for confidentiality. I can understand that. But another brother said, you know, we can't continue to just go off of emotion. We must have facts.